Improving immunity with Ayurveda. Idea of immunity. Individuals are brought into the world with a fundamental insusceptible framework that is feeble. Through steady cooperation with the microorganisms in our condition, and inside our gut, we figure out how to battle against new organisms, which assists with reinforcing the resistant framework. Over the most recent 40 years or thereabouts, unreasonable microbicidal use for the sake of cleanliness and absence of consistent cooperation with plants, soil, and different living beings has bit by bit made our invulnerable framework more fragile, despite the fact that our general well-being and life expectancy has expanded. Invulnerability, as we comprehend it through present-day medication, is the capacity of specific cells, compounds, and immunomodulatory synthetics that assault microorganisms and keep them from making maladies. This idea of attack from microorganisms and a natural protection framework against it prompted the improvement of the scope of anti-infection agents and antibodies in the 20th century. Different improvements in the most recent decade, similar to the rise of autosave issues, boundless anti-infection opposition in microorganisms, and more extensive comprehension of well-disposed of microscopic organisms and its capacities, particularly inside our gut, have constrained us to re-examine the unidirectional idea of the safe framework. In Ayurveda, infections are comprehensively named Nija and Aganthu. Ninja ailments are those which are brought about by a lopsidedness that has started inside one's body and can be generally kept from happening by understanding one's common inclinations. Acanthus is brought about by an outer factor, which may incorporate different wounds, both physical and mental injury, and absence of centered well-being and cleanliness approaches inside a specific culture. Despite the fact that the comprehension of microorganisms came much as of late, Ayurvedic books do recognize the nearness of boundless transmittable sicknesses in social orders with ill-advised dietary direction and absence of sanitation offices, made by neighborhood overseeing bodies known as Janapadadwamsa. This idea of a pandemic caused in a network because of a regular outer factor was referenced in the content of Charaka Samhita in the 2nd century AD. Charaka, the writer, specifies the significant wellsprings of microorganisms spread as air, water, and land. This is generally important in the ebb and flows time, not due to the diseases which spread through these methods, however the general effect of soil, water, and air because to human abuse, environmental change, and over-the-top utilization of antitoxins and different synthetics. Ayurvedic ideas identified with resistant framework capacities. Resistance is an idea clarified in Ayurveda under various themes. The most significant ones are Bala or the idea of solidarity, Vyadhi-ksha Mathwa, or the idea of protection from disease advancement, and Ojas or the idea of preeminent versatility. The idea of Bala clarifies the capacity of the framework to fix and feed itself and be successful in ailment anticipation, though Vyadhi-kshamatva is the capacity of the insusceptible framework to battle against the infection-causing microbes. While previous as a result of the general equalization of body capacities, tissues, assimilation, and end, the last is absolutely indicating the capacity of our insusceptible framework and recuperation subsequent to interacting with pathogenic living beings. The preventive part of our insusceptibility work is significantly identified with our stomach-related framework. Adjusted doshas or bioenergies, through purging, are likewise fundamental for legitimate protection from disease. The idea of Ojas clarifies the immediate relationship between absorption and resistance. Ojas is the last result of physiological change occurring in our body as a feature of tissue sustenance. The 7 layers of tissues are supported individually because of appropriately working metabolic pathways, and the aftereffect of this procedure is Ojas. Ojas is considered as the quintessence of the food we devour, and a solid degree of Ojas demonstrates legitimate tissue sustenance. The capacity of Ojas isn't simply disclosed as protection from illness, yet it is strength to any type of troublesome physical, mental or natural change which would ordinarily make a lopsidedness, prompting sickness, however, is, in any case, managed viably because of the nearness of Ojas. Brain and its impact on resistance. For a really all-encompassing idea of resistance, we ought to unite the comprehension of each of the three ideas referenced in Ayurveda above and consider it to be a result of homeostasis and adjusted digestion. The impact of brain and feeling on our resistance is another framework that is being concentrated in the previous 4 or 5 decades, known as psychoneuroimmunology. This examination of the impact of the focal sensory system on different variables answerable for the resistant reaction. The Ayurvedic idea of Ojas clarifies the effect of invulnerability brought about by over-the-top resentment, wanting, stress, trouble, and effort. This interconnected comprehension of absorption, brain, and resistance in Ayurveda encourages us to create regular cures that impact each of the three emphatically. After all, the capacity to withstand change must be created by keeping up a condition of harmony in the body, psyche, and soul.